Good day, grade 10s. Welcome to yet another exciting lesson for business studies under the topic that says forms of ownership. But we will be looking at the private company, personal liability company, as well as the public company. I am your tutor for today and I go by the name of Ms. Noktula Zulu. Without wasting your time, let's just get to it. Did you know that an entrepreneur needs to consider various factors to determine the best form of ownership? The operation of a private company is less strict than those of a public company. So when you are an entrepreneur, when you want to start your business, there are certain factors that you need to consider. One thing that you need to know is that the regulations of starting a private company are less stricter than those of starting a public company. But we'll get to that through our lesson. Here are the lesson objectives for our lesson today. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to outline the differences between profit and non-profit organizations or companies. Define the meaning of the private, personal liability, and public companies. Outline or explain the characteristics, advantages, or disadvantages of each form of ownership. You should also be able to distinguish or differentiate between different forms of ownership. Let's look at our concept map. Our concept map is an overview of what our lesson will be about. So these are the subtopics that we are going to unpack throughout this lesson. We'll start with the differences between profit companies and non-profit companies, followed by the private company, followed by the personal liability company, and lastly, we'll look at the public company. Let us look at our pre-knowledge. So with the pre-knowledge, we are referring to the knowledge that you should be knowing by now before we even commence with our lesson. So you must know the characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages of a sole trader and a partnership. Let's look at our pre-knowledge practice. It says outline the characteristics of a partnership. There are no legal requirements in starting a partnership except the drawing up of a partnership agreement. So one of the characteristics of a partnership is that you need to draw up a partnership agreement. Apart from that, there are no legal requirements that you need to follow when you want to start a partnership. This agreement is going to be an agreement between two or more partners, whereby how are they going to share the profits? How are they going to contribute towards making a partnership a success? So that's the only thing that you need to draw up, a partnership agreement. Partners combine capital and may also borrow capital from financial institutions. Another characteristic of a partnership is that as partners, you are able to do what? To contribute your own capital and also be able to go and borrow capital from financial institutions in order to bring in to the partnership. Profit is shared according to the partnership agreement. Then another characteristic is that the profit is shared according to what we have agreed upon as partners when we started a partnership agreement. It doesn't go as 50-50. We decide when we start a partnership that this is how we are going to split the profits, and then the profits has to be splitted like the agreement is stipulated. Now, let's look at the new words and language. So these are the words that you are going to come across with throughout the lesson. We have securities. It refers to shares and bonds issued by a company. Limited liability, a legal status where a person's financial liability is limited to an amount invested in the business. We have unlimited liability. Business owners are responsible for all the business debts. We have Memorandum of Incorporation, which is the MOI. It's a document that sets out the rights, duties, and responsibilities of shareholders, directors, and other stakeholders within the business. We have the term company, a type of business structure that has a separate legal entity from its owners. We have directors. These are people elected to the board of a company by the shareholders to represent the shareholders' interests. And the last term is audit. It's a process where financial statements of the business are checked to confirm that they are correct. Let us just go for a quick ad break before we even begin with our lesson. See you shortly.